Hi ladies, how are you? Nice to see you. Thank you so much for coming. Bezrat Hashem, today we're going to speak about laws of selecting, borer. And let's try to explain this Av Melacha. Before that, I'll start with a story about Shabbat. Shabbat is mentioned in so many places in our Torah. Obviously, it's very important, it's dear to Hashem, this law, this Shabbat. And whoever sanctifies the Shabbat, it's unbelievable how Hashem pays back, and it's unbelievable how Hashem loves back that person. So I found a beautiful, beautiful story. Very recent story also, just came out from Israel, and I'll keep it for the end of the shiur. I'll start with a different story now, and then we're going to start with the laws. So, Eli, he was a CEO of a high-tech Israeli company that was bought from an American company, okay? And he was a religious man. And he had another man in the crew that worked in that company. His name was Rafi. Both of them were religious people. One day, Eli gets a phone call from the company, the head company in America, in the United States, telling him that they're very nervous and stressed out because they're launching a new product. And they want it to be successful, so they will do a conference call on Saturday morning, and on a Friday night they need this company in Israel to be available to work on the software, the new software that they're doing. They sometimes last minute bugs that could be in the computer, in the software and stuff, so their technician needs to be available and ready for last updates and changes and stuff. He was shocked, Eli, because usually they don't call him. They know that it's important for them to keep the Shabbat, and usually they don't ask them to violate the Shabbat. But now he says that it's a unique one-time event and extraordinary thing, and they don't usually ask them to do that thing, but this particular time they need them to be available on Friday night and on Shabbat daytime. He didn't know what to do, so he was thinking, and then he remembered, Eli, that one time he was in Japan, and over there time zone is different. Japan is so much ahead of us, it's in the east, so they start the day so much earlier than us, right? So he thought maybe he will take advantage of the time zoning, and he gathered right away all the managers of his company, and they chose a technical expert that will work on the technology, and he is the one that's going to work on the software, work on the bugs if there's any problem or whatever. And they also chose an administrator that will administrate this project the best way possible, and he will be able to conduct this conference call that they need to do. The technical expert, they send him to Alaska, okay, west side of the United States, okay, so that he would be able to work on the repairs or problems or fixing of any kind of problem in the software, and he would be able to work on a Friday. Over there it's not Shabbat yet, so no problem, he could do that. And the other person that needs to take care of the conference call, they send him to Hong Kong, and that's in the eastern side of the time zone. So Shabbat lives there earlier, and then, while it's still here, Shabbat, he could already, work on the conference call because it's going to be already Motzei Shabbat over there. The head of the company here in the States, they were shocked, they were amazed how these people found a solution, how they fulfilled all the requests of all the requirements of the company, the head company, and did it to the utmost success. Everything worked perfectly, went smoothly, everything worked okay. Means that if we really, really want, we can find solution for any kind of a problem, whether it's this kind of a business or that kind of a business. So if you really show to Hashem that you really care and really want to do things the right way, okay, Hashem is very pleased with that, and Bezat Hashem will pay us back for all our effort and tries. So let's start with laws of Borel, of selecting, and we have 4 melachot, okay, that are connected to this Borel, to this selecting. First of all, we spoke about dash. Dash means threshing. You need to, you collect the grain, okay, and you need to separate the grain from the bran, whatever, all kind of separations that people do over there. We spoke about squeezing on Shabbat, right? We spoke about milking the cow and all this. This belongs to dash. Then we spoke about, they throw these grains in the air. The light ones goes with the wind, and the heavy ones, the grains itself, come back to the ground, and this is what they collect, and then they will use it. Then this grain still comes with lots of particles, lots of dirt, lots of stones or sand or all kind of dirt and stuff. You need to select. Usually what people select is they take the stones, the bad stuff they take, so that you have, the product is cleaner, right? This we cannot do on Shabbat, and especially with sifting. Sifting is you using a tool of a sifter or a strainer. Okay, what we do, we put some flour on the sifter, okay, and we sift it. The flour comes down, the good things that we need comes down. Whatever is left on top is all kind of dirt, all kind of bugs, or all kind of, sand, so these are the things that we cannot do on Shabbat, and now we're going to speak about this borel. So the main problem of this Av Melacha is sifting, selecting, taking out the bad from the good, and this we cannot do. So especially we cannot do it with a tool, okay? But there are ways that we could select. What are these ways that we're going to select? Okay, 3 conditions that will be allowed when we select on Shabbat. It's called, in Hebrew, it's ochel, bayad, umiyad. What does it mean? Ochel means you collect the good from the bad. You have food and you have waste. You have trash. You have, let's say, nuts. Okay? There's nuts and there's the shells. There's the peels. Okay? Fruits with peels. Chicken or fish with bones. Okay? What do you allow? You cannot take the bones out from your plate. You cannot take the peels or the shells or whatever. You have to take whatever you want. The food itself. Okay? So we call ochel. And then bayad. Bayad means with your hand. You cannot pick it up. You cannot select the good that you want with a strainer, with a sifter, with all kind of utensils that are designated for selecting. Okay? But if you do it with your hand, it's okay. You're allowed to select with a spoon, with a fork. You're allowed.
The spoon that has holes?
No, spoon, regular spoon. Because a regular spoon is not designated for selecting. Regular spoon is designated for eating. This is derech achila, the way that people usually eat. It's okay, no problem, right? אז זה נקרא ביד, ומייד. מיד means quickly. right away. Okay, to eat it right away. Not to do this separating Friday night and then prepare it for the next day. No. Not to do it 8 o'clock in the morning when the men coming from shul at 12. It's too early. Okay? Miyad. Miyad means right away. You're going to, let's say you want to feed your baby. Okay? So there's food. There's things that he likes in the plate, there's things that he doesn't like. Or let's say you want to give him some fish, okay? And you're afraid of the bone. Are you allowed to separate the bones from the fish? Meaning here, it's not that you're only giving your baby the fish itself, which is good. But for a baby or for somebody else, you're allowed to separate if it's right away people are eating. Meaning, you want to take away the bone so that the baby is not going to eat it and not going to be choked by it, not a problem, because this is derech chela. This is the way that you eat. You're allowed to peel a fruit for him, also that he is going to eat. Not only for you, for somebody else, because he eats it right away, right? So these are the conditions that we're allowed to separate. Okay? Again, ochel means the food itself that you're allowed to remove. Bayad, with your own hand, or with a spoon or fork. Umiyad, to eat it right away. In these conditions, 3 conditions, it's okay to separate. And now, let's give all kinds of scenarios. What's allowed, what's not allowed within the food. Let's say you have 2 types of food in one plate. One big central plate. There's 2 types of food that are mixed with one another. Even though it's the same thing, but it's different, it's not allowed. What do I mean? Let's say I have chicken. But I have 2 types of chicken. One is fried chicken cutlets, schnitzel or something. And one is roasted or smoked or cooked or something. It's chicken, but they're different. You want the fried one, not the cooked one. You cannot take the cooked one and put it away and this. No, take whatever you want. Take the fried one, the one that you want. This is what you're going to take to yourself, right? This is called the ochel. For you, for this moment, the other one is called psolet. Psolet means trash. Psolet means waste. Psolet means something that you don't want. So you pick up the food, don't touch the thing that you don't want, right? This could be 2 different types of fish if you have. You have salmon fish, you have white fish in the same plate, right? For an advice, if possible, don't put 2 different or many different stuff in one plate, because then when you want to put it back, then it's a problem. Separating is a problem. Yeah. For example, let's say some people they put all kind of sorted stuff. Yeah. Or let's say you put all kind of cucumbers and pickles. All types of pickles you put. But they belong to different jars, let's say. You put some olives, you put some pickles, you put some other vegetables that are pickled, whatever. And then you put it in one assorted plate, you put it nicely on the plate, and then you want to put it back separately. That's a problem. That's a problem. You have to put these things back afterwards. Okay, I started to say that if you have different, let's say, fish on the plate, or different chickens on the plate, okay, you're allowed to take whatever you want. But if you want to feed a baby, and you like the white fish, let's say, he likes the salmon, you're allowed to take out the salmon, to separate it for him, to clean it for him, because for him, this is the food. So to do it for somebody else, it's allowed. Sometimes it's even more than that. Let's say somebody has an animal at home. Animal eats something that for us is a trash. Let's say our leftovers, bones or something else. You're allowed to put it separately, the bones for the dog or for the other animal, whatever it is, because this is its food. So again, if we do it just before eating. So usually we do it within half an hour from the meal itself. Let's say they're coming back from shul at 11:30. From 11 o'clock, you can start preparing. If you want to do salad, you want to start peeling vegetables, you want to, peeling is separating, right? So only this is when you're going to start doing this stuff. And, okay. Okay, this I said also. Okay, if you need to prepare food for guests that are going to come, let's say you want to start peeling eggs for them, or you want to start peeling fruits and vegetables for them, you know, to do it for the amount that they would eat, not too many, not to do it for the next meal also, that's not allowed, okay? There's a difference here with the methods now. The Ben Ish Chai used to live back in Iraq. Over there by the Sephardim, if you prepare a big table with lots of food, this is the honor of the table. This is the honor of the woman that the family that hosting these people. So they usually used to do much more than for one meal, or no, for one person, let's say, to show that people can feel comfortably there. Rav Ovadia said it's not allowed. You have to prepare only for the amount that people are going to eat, not more, because to prepare too much, it's not allowed. So,
how are you going to do that?
Huh?
How are you going to do that?
This is what he said. He said, if you know that, let's say, people are going to eat, let's say, just 10 eggs, prepare just 10 eggs. Don't prepare more. And on the spot, if somebody wants, you could do more. Huh?
Dessert and fruits.
Dessert and fruit.
Yeah, I prepare, I put it on the side, I cover it.
We said that not too early, okay? But if you do it, as there's a difference between Sephardim, I guess, and also Ashkenazim, because Ashkenazim, they would put, let's say, whatever the right amount. With the Sephardim, they're more, their honor is very important, so usually they prepare much more, and it's okay. Rav Ovadia disagrees, but this is the way that we usually honor the table, so it's okay to prepare a little bit more. Now, if somebody selected too much, peeled too much, he thought that he's going to eat. He didn't do it just to outsmart the system. Okay, he thought that he would eat, but wasn't able to. So it's okay to leave it for the next meal. Doesn't have to force himself to eat all this just because he prepared a little bit more. Selecting is if you have many kinds of different assorted stuff on the plate. If you have if everything is one type of a fish, it's not called selecting. For example, you have big pieces of fish, you have small pieces of fish. The same thing. It's not called selecting. Okay, it's one piece, it's one kind, and it's okay. Okay, let's say now you have fruits, in a bowl or in a big plate, and some fruits, let's say there's some grapes that they're not the best, they're not so good, some of them are rotten or something. You cannot pick them up and remove that from the plate, it's not nice. But let's say you didn't see that it's rotten from one side, you picked it up, you see that it's not good, you're allowed to put it aside and take another one. Because this is the achilato, this is the way that usually people eat. You don't have to eat rotten stuff because you just picked it up, right? So that's okay.
So what about, like if we're washing grapes, and there's sometimes the bag is nice with grapes, inside there's some rotten ones.
Mm-hmm.
So before we can take it out?
You cannot take it out before. You cannot, because this is called selecting. You're removing the bad from the good, okay? Now, once we learned that washing fruits, especially fruits that bugs can be in among or between or inside this food, all these are better to wash before Shabbat. You cannot wash tutim, no? Strawberry on Shabbat, because strawberry usually are infested, they have problems. There's all kind of ways of cleaning it also, right? So some problematic fruits and vegetables or kind of greens, you don't wash them on Shabbat because you need to soak them, you need to salt them, you need to remove. Stuff you cannot do on Shabbat. Some say that grapes have little bugs in there or something, and therefore it's better to do all this before Shabbat. If you know for sure that these grapes are clean and no problem, you can wash it on Shabbat. It's okay, just soak it in soapy water or something. It's not.
You can soak it in soapy water.
Soapy water, no problem. If you
Well,
know
let's
it's
say
just
there's
from
one or
dirt, it's okay, just from dirt.
But if there's one or two molded ones, you cannot take it out before you put it on the table?
So, derech achilato is, we speak about before meal, right? It's okay that you're going to remove it. You have to have it on the, so before meal, as you eat it, it's okay. But now, more than that, it says here. Let's say somebody has vegetables that has some rotten or moldy or leaves. Let's say lettuce. The first lettuce are not the greatest. The inside are so much nicer. Or celery, he mentioned. I don't know who eats celery with the leaves or whatever. So he says, don't take out the bad ones, take the good ones. This will be, of course, in a condition that they are already detached, these leaves. But if they are connected, so it's okay to remove some of the bad because you want to get to the good. Yeah, there's no other way to get to the good. It's okay, no problem. You're allowed to peel fruits and vegetables that you would like to eat right away, okay, with a knife, not a problem. There is a leniency of Rav Ovadia Yosef that allows to do it with a peeler, things that you usually eat, fruits and vegetables you usually eat with a peel. He says this kind you're allowed to use a peeler. We usually don't use a peeler on Shabbat, but this is a leniency of Rav Ovadia that says a lot of Mefashim, a lot of they don't accept it, but this is what he said.
So like a cucumber we could peel with a peeler?
Cucumber, if you able to eat it with a peel also, if you just before the meal, Rav Ovadia says it's okay. Whoever eats fish or chicken that has bones in it, you're allowed to remove the bone just before you put it in your mouth. You don't have to put it in your mouth and then remove the bone. Because this is derech achilato. This is the way that you eat. So in this way it's okay. Sometimes when people are cooking chicken, let's say in the wings, there's some kind of a feather, one or two pieces that were not plucked, and you don't like it on your plate. You're allowed to pluck it before you eat. It's not a problem. Okay. Fruits that has seeds in there. Let's say you have a date inside. There's a seed. Let's say there's an apricot or peaches or whatever. You're allowed to remove the seed before you eat it because this is derech achilato. You don't have to put it all inside and then to remove it. Watermelon seeds. So they say to shake it. Today we don't have seeds anymore. But let's say you have to shake it as much as you can. And if you see one or two, another more on the plate or inside the fruit, you're allowed to remove it and then eat. Melon usually, there's so much more, right? So let's say you want to eat just half a melon, you can clean all this half a melon. If you're not intending to eat the rest, okay, so don't clean it. Just leave it as is, cover it, put it in the refrigerator. If you're planning to eat everything for that meal, it's okay. You can remove all this liquid and whatever is there inside in the middle of this, and then you're to clean it and peel it and whatever. It's okay because it's just before meal. You're allowed to crack pistachios and all kind of nuts and peanuts before eating. It's okay. If let's say you wanted to do a salad and you squeeze the lemon inside and 2 or 3 seeds fell into the salad. So this is the waste. This is the trash. You don't want to eat that, right? How can you remove it? With some of the food. For Ilanit that asked before with the grapes, if you remove some of the good together with the bad, that would be a good solution too. Okay, now B'Shabbat, no, this is not. Okay, if let's say a fly or a mosquito fell into a drink, right? So, and you want to drink that drink, let's say it's a wine or something, so you're allowed to spill it, and with this this will fall too, or to pick it with a spoon with some of the fluid, with some of the drink, okay, and throw it. It's not a problem. This is how you could select it. You could remove it. Let's say also if you cooked before Shabbat milk, you heat it, boiled milk, okay, and there's some kind of fat on top. It forms a fat. You're allowed to remove it if you cannot eat it. You cannot drink it like that by either spilling some of the milk with this or remove it with a spoon with some of the milk. It's okay. It would be okay because there's no other way to eat that. Or to give it to someone that likes it. Usually the elders, they like this. It's not a problem to use with a tea kettle on Shabbat that has a strainer in the nozzle, because this is how you pour the tea, and it's okay. If you want to do tea, if you did the tea on Shabbat, second klisheni and all that, and you want to remove the tea bag, it's okay to remove the tea bag. Okay, even though it's not, you don't want it on your zeh, but that's the way that people do, and it's okay. Sometimes there are salt shakers. People like to put some rice in it in order to not to be moist inside. So this, if you want to use it, it's okay to use it on Shabbat. It's not about to use it on Shabbat because the salt shaker is made for salt. It's not made for selecting anything. We put there the rice, so it's not how to use it. Faucet that has some kind of a strainer inside, it's not a problem to use it on Shabbat because it's not a problem. You don't have to remove it or anything. If you want to spill leftover of food that is mixed with sauce into your I don't know, some places, I guess in Israel, maybe here too, they have this kind of a triangle thing that you put in the corner of your sink that has holes, and it collects all the waste, all the garbage, and the water spills or whatever, and then you can throw it to the garbage. So he says you can put it into this thing. It's not a problem, no problem of selecting over here. And now, Esther asked me before if it's allowed to use a slotted spoon. It's a big spoon that has holes inside. This is not easy to use it on Shabbat, and because usually it selects. If you want to pour, let's say, soup, okay, that has also vegetables, you don't want the vegetables. So what you do is you can tilt this, or to use
A ladle. It's called a ladle.
the ladle, right? How do you call the one for the spoon? For the soup?
The
The ladle?
It's called a ladle.
So the ladle you could use because it's not a problem. You take only, let's say, the liquid. If some vegetables comes with this, so some vegetables comes with this. Sometimes there are some soups that only the water floats and the vegetable, because they're heavier, they're down on. So you can tilt it or use it, no problem. What if you want to separate it, somehow you want just the vegetables, let's say. That would be a problem to remove just the vegetables. I read that if you don't have another spoon, you have just this one with the holes, okay? If you just before a meal, okay, you're allowed to remove it quickly to put it into a plate, not to wait for this to drape or whatever, because you don't have anything else. But it's better not to use the one with the holes.
That has holes.
So I'm saying, some say that if you want to take the vegetable themselves, okay, because you selecting whatever you want, some say that it's okay, but some say not to do it with a special utensil, which is this ladle with holes, you know, or to take it right away so that you'll have with some liquid also, you know, it's not so much separating. Let's say you have pickles, and there's a lot of water in there. What do? Now pickles and big chunks of meat, let's say, and big chunks of vegetables, it's not called separating, it's two different things. So with pickles, it's easier. He says you could spill a little bit of the water of the pickle, you know, the salty water or the vinegar, whatever is in there. But if it's small particles, let's say you have olives, or let's say you have corn, or peas, or stuff like that, in its juice, that would be a problem to separate, because it's small particles, small pieces. Big pieces like the pickles that we mentioned, big chunks of meat, or big chunks of vegetables, that would not be a problem too. You take whatever you want, not a problem.
So if I open the corn,
the corn would be a problem because it's small pieces.
But I cannot spill the water from the can on Shabbat?
So tuna, what about tuna?
And tuna.
Yeah.
So what I do is I
You have to take with some of the thing.
I have like the misanenet, the small one.
אז אסור בשבת מסננת.
But
That's what we say. בשבת מסננת אסור.
What about if I'm just
No, with מסננת אסור בכלל. Okay, because we said if you want, be with your hand.
So how would I wash them?
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
What if it's eating something like, for example, stuffed cabbage, like it has meat, but the cabbage is around it, but I don't like the cabbage, I just want the meat. Can I remove the stuffed cabbage and the cabbage to get the meat?
Can, because this is the only way for you to eat it. It's like you remove a shell, like you remove a peel from the food, right? You want to get to the inside, so you remove it, you open it in order to, but then you put it aside. You don't remove it from your plate, put it aside, no problem. Okay. Other sorting, not with food, or other selectings. The same way that we cannot select between two kinds of food, same would be to select, we're not allowed to select between all kind of dishes, all kind of clothes, all kind of books, okay, that are mixed one into the inside with each other. But you take the utensil that you want, or the book that you want, or the dish that you want, and use it right away. Just before using, you could do it. You're allowed to select the cutlery, okay, that is mixed after washing the dishes, okay, you're allowed to do it, and because you need it for the meal, so you're allowed to do it just before, or would be better idea, after you washed the spoons, forks, knives, whatever, you know, wipe each one. If you take one by one, you can put it in the designated place in your drawer, no problem. This is okay because you prepare it for the next
Can we
week.
put the dirty,
It's okay.
dirty dishes in the dishwasher?
For what?
Friday,
For what? To prepare it for Shabbat, for the Motzei Shabbat? No. Because preparing achana lechol. If you put it for storage, it's okay.
People say that you could, I don't know, but that we can put stuff in the dishwasher.
For storage, it's okay.
No, not for storage, we want to like, put the dishes away.
Yeah, depends how you prepare it. Depends how you prepare it. If you sort it nicely, big plates, small plates, this, you prepare it for Motzei Shabbat. If you put it not in order, because you need the place, then it's okay.
Anyway, you're putting it, no matter where you put it. And even if you stack it up on the counter, it's putting it in order.
Yeah, but it's not for washing.
But you shouldn't prepare it for this to be operated on Motzei Shabbat. Okay?
Just like the
Another question, can I ask?
Yeah.
Okay, if we put the uwe on Friday in the container like here, or the pickles, on Shabbat afternoon, can we put it nicely? I mean, I'm separating them, like
To
chicken.
put it nicely for what? For the meal?
Yeah, from the container, I'm putting on the plate.
Yeah, what's the problem?
I'm separating chicken and thing.
You take whatever you want. You want to put it on a plate for serving for the food, right? No problem, because you want to serve it right away.
But the back only the problem, not the, when we put it on the plate, it's okay?
It's allowed. Okay, let's say somebody works in shul over here, and people use the books and put it not in order in one of the tables. Is he allowed to put it back in place? Yes, he's allowed to put it back in place. All the sidurim, the chumashim, whatever, he's allowed to do it. If you're looking for a certain book, okay, you're allowed to look it among all the other books, and sometimes, let's say you have to remove certain books in order to get to that one, it's okay to do, no problem. Same would be with clothing. Usually, let's say there are 2, 3 clothing on one rack, not on one hanger, okay? So, and you want the one that underneath everything, you're allowed to remove all this in order to take that one, okay? But not to select, not this one, not this one, not this. Take whatever the one that you want.
I heard you have to like pre-select your clothes before Shabbat. Is that true?
What?
I heard you have to
Would be
pre-select.
so much better. Yeah, would be so much better.
Really don't.
Huh?
It's not gonna happen.
Let's say if you want 2 whole matzah for lechem mishneh, you want 2 whole matzah from a box, okay? If it's all scattered next to you, so you select the one that you want. If it's inside the box, and in order to get to these 2 whole ones, you have to remove this one, until you get there, it's okay, he says, because you aim for a specific thing. We cannot sort all kind of toys, okay, according to shapes and colors, and whoever belongs to this baby, whoever belongs to that child, or whatever. We cannot put in order pictures in the album according to dates, according to events, according to whatever. This is called sorting. You cannot sort socks according to sizes, according to colors, according to this. Okay? And
Just have to be.
this is basically sorting. And I promised you a story that I wanted to tell you so much. I called my daughter this week. I mean, we spoke on Friday, and I told her I need a story about Shabbat. He told me, Ima, just came out. And then she told me the story. And then just before I getting into the kitchen, I like to look for a lecture, what to hear now. And I bump into the same story, It's unbelievable. It just came out. Rav Chaim Zaid, he's a rabbi of, I think, Pardes Katz in Bnei Brak. And he usually likes to tell stories about Hashgacha Pratit and how Hashem takes care of things. It's so beautiful to see. Today I heard even more stories about, this is a very, very special story, how when you keep the Shabbat and you want to sanctify it and you want it, and it's very special to you, it's so nice to see how Hashem pays back, how Hashem appreciates the fact that you keep Shabbat. So usually when people learn in a kollel in Israel, usually typical salary is around, let's say, $500 a month. It's not a big amount, but that's what they get. There is a kollel that the rabbis that pay for his avrachim, for the people that sit and learn, he gives them 4 times more, $2,000 per month, which is a lot. There are 80 people that learn in this kollel, and for the past 2 years, He gives each and one of them $2,000. Make a calculation how much it cost him this kollel. Huh? It's a lot of money. So, past Purim, he drank, I guess, a little bit extra wine, and somebody asked him, "Where do you have the funds from?" Okay, this was a man by the name Rabbi Gold that lives in Givat Ze'ev in Yerushalayim, has 11 children. How do you have money? You're a rabbi. Where do you have the money from? So he told him, because he was a little bit, not focused, he told him what happened to him some time ago. The rabbi of his children calls him, they were chatting, talking, and he tells him, it's good to take the kids from time to time to a trip, to have some quality time together. You can hike, you can do all kind of stuff. It's good for parenting, this, that. One of the tips, it's good to spend time. So one day he decided that he's going to wake up his kids very early, and they will go all the way to Meron. Meron is the north of Israel, several hours of drive. And then afterwards they will get into this creek, and they will do this hike, and they will do this. The whole day they will have a nice trip together. Towards night they will go back home. Tzedek Baruch Hashem, they did this, everything was smooth, everything was beautiful, he had some quality time with his kids. At around 10 o'clock in the evening, he says, okay, we're excited, we're exhausted, all of us, we're tired, let's go home. They get to the car, he starts driving, and then he realizes that the gas is ending, fuel is empty, the tank. And after a few minutes that he's driving like that, the car just stopped. He couldn't start the car anymore. Now it's the middle of the night, it's 11 o'clock in the evening, dark. A place that usually people don't drive so much, somewhere north of Israel. What is he going to do? How can he go back to Bnei Brak or wherever he lives? He didn't know what to do, so he came out of the car, he's looking for, some passing car or something. A few cars passed, no one stopped. After about, I don't know how long, somebody pulled over. How can I help you? And then he saw the rabbi, religious man, with a beard, with a kippah, and he saw him. Quickly his mood changed, this driver, and he didn't want to help him. You could see that he didn't want to help him. The kids got so excited that somebody stopped. They came out of the car, but this man already drove off. He told him, "You're a religious person, I don't want to help you." Okay, so they keep waiting. After about 10 minutes, he comes back, the same guy. I cannot stand religious people. You're not normal. You have no brains. You're this, you're that, and he's complaining and whatever he hears in the media. So why did you come? I see your kids and I feel pity on your kids. In the middle of the night, what are you going to do here? So he tells him, what do you need? He says, I need to go to the nearest gas station to fill up a jerrycan and come back. He says, okay, come in, I'll take you. So they go. They drive for about 15 minutes, 20 minutes, something like that. Meanwhile, this guy, the driver, tells all whatever he knows about religious people. You're this, you're that, you're this, you're that. So they come to the gas station. The rabbi looks at the board, whatever is written there, how you call this, not the billboard, signboards, whatever. He doesn't come off the car. No, come on, go out.
24/7.
It says 24/7. He says, I really appreciate what you do for me, but it says that this gas station is open on Shabbat too.
Oh my goodness.
And they make profit from people on Shabbat, and I don't usually buy from these kind of places. He says, are you crazy? What are you talking about? In the middle of the night, your kids are like this and that. Wait, just take it. I won't tell anything. He says, I'm sorry. He starts telling him, we have the Shabbat. It's such an important mitzvah. It says in so many places in the Torah, whoever keeps Shabbat, Hashem is going to do this and this and that. And I love Hashem, and I want Hashem to love me back. And he cannot stand what he tells him. He says, you're crazy. I don't know, you're not normal. And furiously, he puts him back in wherever he took him from, back to the car. He says, I don't want to know you, goodbye, and ran away. טוב, בסדר. He keeps waiting. After about 10-15 minutes, a car's back. Again, the same guy. What do you want now? He says, I feel so bad for you. It's not because of you. I feel bad for the kids. Okay, hop in and I'll take you to the nearest kosher keeping the Shabbat. They look at the Waze, 40 minutes drive. He says, okay, I'll take you. So again, all the way he keeps hearing about the Jewish religious, this and that. And they came to that gas station. He filled up the jerrycan. They go back, and he keeps thanking him that he's so good, that he's so generous, it's so nice of him, this and that. He stopped him, he came down, he thanked him very much, and he drove off. Well, Hashem kol hakavod, he really did a nice thing for him. Beseder. Some time passed, and he almost forgot this incident. About a month later, this guy calls Rabbi Gold.
The guy who...
The driver, right, he calls Rabbi Gold. He says, I need to meet with you. So they set up a place, and he, of course, and he went to meet him. And he told him the most amazing thing. It's unbelievable what he told him. He says, a week after this incident, my father passed away. Now his father was a billionaire, one of the most richest people that lived in Israel. He owned businesses, he owned buildings, skyscrapers in Tel Aviv, in Ramat Gan, and all this central of Israel. He was a very, very rich person. And he had this one boy, this guy, the driver, and another son that is married to a non-Jewish woman, but doesn't live in Israel. Basically, he gave all his inheritance to this boy, but he wrote him something there. He said, I never kept any mitzvot in my life, and I'm scared to go now to heaven. They will do a judging over there, and I didn't do any mitzvot. I never gave any charity. I didn't do anything. Please, I want you to find somebody that Hashem loves him, okay? If you find somebody that Hashem loves him and you give him 40% of all what I leave for you, hopefully Hashem in heaven will not be so upset at me and will judge me, favorably or something. So this guy is keep thinking, who would Hashem love? How can I find this kind of a person? He went down, he looked for in a local shul to see religious people. How would I know who Hashem likes? He sees people come to shul. This one with his cell phone, this one with his smartphone. They hint, they speak to each other, they mumble to himself all kind of stuff. They busy with millions of stuff. He doesn't see love to Hashem over there. He goes to this shul, he goes to that, but he doesn't find it. He keeps thinking, what did my father want from me? He doesn't know how to fulfill his father's wish. And then one day he's sitting at home, and all of a sudden it hit his mind. It hit him. What did this rabbi say in the car? I love Hashem so much, and Hashem gave us this Shabbat, and it's so dear to him, this mitzvah, and I want to keep it 100%, and whatever I told him, I wanted to give it to you. I know you did this mitzvah in such mesirut nefesh in the middle of the night, and no one would know that you did that, and no one would, and you did it because you believed that you had so much Yiras Shamayim. I want to give it to you. So this rabbi called, Baruch Hashem, bought 11 apartments for all his kids with his money, bought even more apartments for investments and this and that, but mainly created this kollel with these 80 people that he gives them $2,000 each and every month. And this is just because of love. When you keep Shabbat, okay, you show love to Hashem. It's a great thing that you do. It says, Baruch shomer avtachato li're'av. Hashem, blessed is Hashem that keeps his promise to people who fear for Him, people who obey Him, people who do the mitzvot. So Bezrat Hashem, you keeping the mitzvot, us, all of us, of Shabbat, Hashem is going to reward us 10 times more. If not more. Bezrat Hashem. Thank you so much. שיהיה לכם כל טוב, בשורות טובות. תודה רבה.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Rabbits and you